Hello YouTube, this is Shirley426, and today we have the review of the HG Brave Standard Test Type. Now originally I was trying to review something else from the 00 series, however that thing did not arrive yesterday, so I decided to review this. However, despite that, I am very impressed with this kit, because number one, I have reviewed the Overflag some time ago, and basically I had some issues with that kit, mostly with stability, and I was expecting something similar as from this kit as well. However, every problems I had with the Overflag has been fixed with this kit, so I am very happy with that. And number two, there are no polycaps used in this kit, which was very impressive considering its design and overall. And number three, despite those feet and how skinny it is able to stand on its own. Alright, other than that, let's see what we got in terms of components. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the mobile suit itself, the Brave Standard Type or Standard Test Type. And then hand-wise, we get two multi-purpose hands, which is already on the arms. And then here are your usual stuff. So number one, we get the GN beam rifle. I believe this is what's it called, a GN rifle or whatever. And then we have two handles. Once again, these are not actually movable hands, but rather they are on like pegs basically. Of course they are pretty stiff, but basically what you can do is take them off, and then you can store one of the non-using handles and then store it in like that as if it's folded up. So that's what you can do. And number two is that you can open up the rifle. So currently it was closed up, but you can also, now this might not be good for everybody, but still it's there. So what you can do is basically you can open this section up to make it look like it's opened up. So, and here is one of the white stickers I've used, and let me show you guys what sticker it uses since we mentioned it. So here is one of the white stickers I use, and here is the entire sticker sheet. So currently I use these two long ones, and then these small black ones, these round ones, and one that goes into the face. And other than that, I did not use any of the white stickers other than the middle one, because all those white stickers are supposed to go onto the side, like here, and it requires you to fold up a lot, and I am not a big fan of those, which is why I decided not to do that. And then here we have an action-based connector, because this kit does not have any extra holes to connect, so they give you a connector. And then we get a GN condenser, a big large GN condenser pack, something like that. This is only meant for the transformation or the cruise mode, what they call it. So once again, I'll be mentioning that you'll be seeing that in the transformation as well. And then here we have the beam saber. Once again, it being the old 00 ones, they give you a whole mold with non-colored parts. So once again, I am not a big fan, so I don't really care. And lastly, we get a free action base. But once again, these are not that great. So I mean, it's good to have one, but I'd rather use something else that actually have joints on it. So once again, still good enough, but not the best. Alright, so let's see what we got in terms of articulation. So let's see what we got. So let me get it off the stand. And once again, despite how it looks, it is able to stand on its own. So let's start with the head. I really like the head design, and once again, if there's something I was not expecting with the head, is that if you look at the extra fins on the head, they actually have safety nubs right over here. Mostly we see these in terms of V-fins, but they also get added these on the fins on the head as well. So once again, pretty nice extra going on there. And the head, you can see there's a orange visor going on here. Now at first glance it may look like it's just a plain orange visor, but if you look closely, there's actually a small mono eye molded inside, like how the original Overflag design is, or the Brave unit has. They actually do have mono eyes actually, so yeah. That is a nice touch. And once again, we have these cables going on the back end. Now, for the Susanoo, I kind of understand that because it actually has a use for it. But this one, I'm not really too sure what the main use for these cables are. But yeah. So the head can go down that much, up not so much, but it is on the ball joint, so you can rotate the head 360. But once again, the cable is going to get in the way, so yeah. But once again, no need to go actual 360 for a mobile suit. Here we have the main body going on here. Here are these two round stickers I used, so that's that. So one issue I had was the Overflag, was that the main body also had a lot of parts moving on, so they were not stable. This one is fully stable going on here. Of course, for the transformation, you have to pull these sections slightly out and then reveal a peg from the main body, but once again, I'm not going to show that process. The arms are pretty interesting. So they can move forward and backward like that, but you can also extend the joints like that and then have even much more range going on here. And this part can move forward and backward for the sake of transformation or repositioning the armor. And that thing itself is supposed to be on a ball joint, but once again, it's a very stiff ball joint. And the arms, we have your typical ball jointed hand going on here. The arm itself can go 360 with no problem at all. Of course, sometimes the parts, the extra GN drives on the back may get in the way, but still that's that. And then 360 twist on the lower arm itself is possible as well. And we only get a 90-degree bend going on here. But that's pretty much enough for this kit, if you ask me. Other than that, let's look at the back. So on the back, we have your typical looking GN drive, and then here we have more extra smaller versions that works as boosters, and then we have these wings going on here. Very nice looking, but these are mostly for the transformation, if I remember correctly. And we have these parts that can move upwards, but once again, mostly for the transformation, and still works. Now the other one does not move, so don't try to force it. And we have double ball joint connections. So what I mean by double ball joint is that there's one ball joint that connects this part right over here, so 360 is possible, and then there's another one right over here that connects to the back. Of course, the one that connects onto the back is much more stiff, so do be careful, which allows you to reposition these parts anywhere you want to do so. And now the main body, the connection between the main body and the waist is a ball joint, so which allows you to have a nice ab crunch going on here, and 360 twist should be possible as well. Now for the transformation, you have to like reposition the waist section a lot, but once again, I'm not going to show that process. And then we have the front skirt, which is pretty much a single piece, no ball joint connections on each side. This is a whole single piece. And then we have these two black stickers that I used, and there's no back skirt or side skirts going on here, but of course these are actually connected to the side, so they do tend to get in the way in terms of articulation, but luckily you can rotate them around. Of course, if you do so, sometimes they will pop off like that, so they are on a ring joint. So but once you have it on the side, you can do a nice side swivel, because come on, let me just okay, so we have a nice side swivel, because of course when you move the leg, do be careful, because if you're not moving the joints together, the legs tend to pop off a little bit easily, so just be aware of that. But once again, if you know what you're doing, you can get a nice side swivel, and then you can go forward 90 degrees and back 90 degrees as well. Once again, I popped it off, but still, once again, you can do a lot of articulation. And if you can also push the ball joint in a little bit more to get a more secure connection right over there like that. And bend wise, we have a nice bend going on here, so that's pretty good. And then the feet, once again, very interesting looking feet, but it has a ball joint connection here, so we have a nice pivot going on here, kind of. And then we have the lower section right over here, which also has a ball joint connection right over there, so we also have a nice pivot on the lower section here. And I'm not sure this should count as a toe bend, but still we do have a toe bend going on here, and another joint that allows you to reposition the feet wherever you want to do so. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the articulation as far as I can tell. So once again, despite how it looks, it's a very stable looking kit, a lot of stiff areas, and it can actually has some stability on it, and can stand on its own with no problem as well. Alright, so one thing I would like to show before the transformation is that the weapons, including the beam saber, you can pretty much attach it to the hand with no problem at all. I believe the beam saber requires you to take apart the hand and then reattach, but the rifle, you can just pretty much plug it in to the hand and you're good to go. Alright, so we've seen that, so I'll be right back with the transformation. So before we start the transformation, or I show the transformed version, basically this connects to the back like in this kind of sense. And yeah, so just keep that in mind. So it is slightly has a part transforming aspect, but if you don't like this, you can always not use it. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with the transformation. So this is the Brave unit's cruise mode, if I remember correctly the term. So I mean, I followed the instruction manual, and it turned out okay, but not perfect, because like once again, it requires you to like pull out a few areas, fold, like, and then bend a few areas, and then attach like this to that. So once again, the most issue I had was mostly like bringing out the middle waist section and then folding it up in the correct position. And then I followed the manual as it, because on this green piece below there is a peg, and then there's a hole on the leg part, and they tell you to connect it, and which I did for each leg. But once again, the feet are supposed to line up perfectly or something like that, but I'm having a little bit issues with that as well. And so yeah, the manual doesn't really do a great job on showing how to do like the transformation. But once again, I am very satisfied with the way how it is right now, because especially for the gun, because on my old Overflag review, the problem I had with the gun was that there was a bending point in the middle. So once I did the transformation, the gun did not really point forward. It would keep drooping down. But this one does not actually have that aspect, hence we have a very clean looking aspect. And as I mentioned, I only use one sticker here. So yeah, of course, if I had to mention something a little bit odd, is that they tell you to put the handles down for some reason. So I would assume they would tell you to fold them up, but yeah. And yeah, and the head doesn't really go. The head doesn't really hide that much, because if I remember the Overflag, the head you actually had to push it down a little bit. I could be wrong, but they did a pretty good job on hiding the head. But this one, not so much. So once we are done with the transformation, there's not much to do other than like have extra gimmicks like pulling out these wings, which actually do look pretty good if you ask me. Or you can open up the gun to make it look like it's firing at the moment. So once again, it's pretty simple, and I really like how tight the gun is at the moment. You can see there's actually a big peg. That you reveal from the chest, and then you attach the gun to it, and it is a very, very firm connection, which I do really enjoy. Now you may have noticed I'm not using the action base that was provided with the kit. So once again, when I first got into the hobby, yes, I was really happy to see kits that would come with their own action bases. But after a few years and then trying out this new action base, these ones don't really feel that great, if you ask me. I mean, sure, it's a free action base, but not the best. And that's pretty much it for the review. This was, yeah, once again, once you have the transformation, you're pretty much done with it. There's not much you can do with it at the moment, unless you're trying to do something very specific. So the transformation, I wouldn't say it's the best transformation, but at the same time, it's not the worst transformation. So it's really in between. It really depends on your preference, I guess. And once again, thank you for watching the review. This was the review of the HG Brave unit standard test type. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.